It's an episode. We had a new episode. It's a centenary. It's the power of the Doctor.
It came out, Aiden. It aired. We've seen it. It's here. Oh my god.
Goodness me.
It happened.
So right now, Connor, you could be cosplaying as 3 people. You could be the 4th Doctor.
Uh-huh.
You could be the Master in this episode.
Yeah.
Or Osgood.
Yeah. This is my my girlfriend's mum knitted me a Tom Baker scarf for my birthday. And it was so sweet, and it's actually to like scale and the actual proper
to use the actual like costume design
from
dimensions.
the BBC. Like, it's actually pretty nuts
from the archives,
and she did it herself by hand, which is so lovely. It's a lovely present, but it is October in Australia, which is a bit toasty.
It's getting very warm,
so I don't know how long I'll wear it for, but I was like, it'd be sweet to wear it, and like it actually is like in the episode, which was I didn't know it was going to be. I assumed it might pop up, but
yeah.
But
I love how for about 3 months straight we were complaining about how it's constantly raining, and now we're heading into the season where we're going to be like,
no, it's so hot.
It's so hot, and we have to like put the aircon on in waves during.
We're either like sweating or just like freezing our asses off.
Yeah,
it's like there is no in between.
No,
there's no in between in Australia and in this room.
You know what is in between Legend of the Sea Devils and
the 60th?
The power of
the Doctor, which came out today.
Literally. Today, are we recording this?
This day, yeah.
Yeah.
The 24th?
At the 4th in Australia, 23rd in the UK.
Yeah.
So we're going to be doing a deep dive, a big old review into that episode. Ooh, wow.
You should have said that with Legend of the Sea Devils review. A deep dive.
Wow.
Into Legend of the Sea Devils. Just kidding.
No.
It's Power of the Doctor.
That's right. Swashbuckle your seatbelts.
Yep.
It's time for Power of the Doctor review, right? So, we have been throwing out all sorts of content all morning since we woke up. In Australia, it came out at like 4 a.m, I think. And Connor got up at 5. I got up at a similar time, but my girlfriend was leaving for work at 7. And I was like, look, I'm going to get up. I'm going to put on half of it, and then she's going to be rattling around, getting her breakfast in the kitchen whilst I'm trying to watch TV. And then I'm going to have to be like, yeah, bye. And I don't want to ignore her. We got to have a chat. Yeah. Like, first world problems. Oh, my God. Yeah, so I decided that I would wait until she'd gone for work. And then at about, I think I finished it at 9. So at 7:30, I put it on this morning, which I think was a good time to watch it. But you woke up very early, didn't you?
Yeah, 5:30-ish. And it kind of sucks because I wish that I had like time to just kind of enjoy it and not rush to put it on.
Yeah, because
like
you had to go to work.
I had to go to work, yeah. I worked half a day so we could film a bit earlier. But I just wish the first 15 minutes I was quite snoozy.
Yeah, right.
But I was like, I had no other option. Plus I had to take in account of the time it would take to film my reaction video to Jodie's Regeneration, edit it, and upload it and make a thumbnail and try and do that in about 45 minutes, half an hour, which I did do, and then it instantly got copyright strike, which was a fucking kick in the teeth, because I was like, I just did all this and I did it, and I was only like 10 minutes, 15 minutes late for work. But I was like, damn it, and then Aiden came to the rescue.
That's me,
and,
man.
Saved me.
Rescue dog, Aiden.
So but it was a bit of a rush process, but still enjoyable. Plus it was 90 minutes, so it was a longer episode to watch. It was.
It's the longest standalone episode of Who, right?
I think so. I think isn't End of Time 70 part 2? I think it's 70.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
70, 80 or something. Yeah. So
it's a huge horse of a story. It's very bulky. A lot of stuff going on. We got Daleks, Sidemen, Master, and a lot of familiar faces.
Oh yeah,
Connor. I'm gonna say right off the bat. Throughout this episode, on my own, just with me and a doggy watching this, the whole way through this episode, I laughed, I cried, I cheered, I did. I shit you not, I punched the air multiple times in this, where I was like, or it was more of like I punched my knee and I was like, fuck yes, whenever they like did cool shit. Vague thoughts. So clearly I quite enjoyed it. Where is it with you?
Yeah, definitely really enjoyed it. I think story-wise, it's a bit of a nothing burger. Like, let's be real.
Yes, I agree.
I can't even really tell you what like the fucking point of it was, but it was just kind of fun and
good analogy. Good analogy. So it's like a burger. The patty's really shit. Yeah. Like, it's disgusting, tasteless. They've overcooked it. It's fucked. But They put so much sauce, so much of the best cheese, so much lovely toppings on there.
Yeah.
That, oh my God, you don't even notice how, like...
You can trust Aiden. You used to work at a burger joint. So
I did.
You can trust Aiden with that.
Yeah, you don't even notice how mundane of an episode it kind of is plot-wise.
Literally.
Plot-wise.
And everything we said about like the Daleks and the Cybermen just being there was 100% true.
Daleks, yes. Cybermen, I enjoyed.
You like the Cybermen in it?
I did like the Cybermen in it. I really like Ashford. Like, he didn't really have many lines, but I think he's a good presence.
I just felt like they were kind of just like thrown in. To be
Sure,
fair,
they were.
The opening was fun.
Let's do that. Let's go.
But I enjoyed it though. I definitely have my issues with it. But yeah, to answer your question, I really did enjoy it.
Yeah, cool. Glad. Yeah, I think we're gonna feel pretty similar about this.
I think so. Yeah.
Because I definitely was kind of up and down throughout it. The majority. Okay, first 45 minutes, I loved it. Like, I was like, this is great. But then it was sort of the last 45 minutes. Well, not the last 45 minutes, because I think the last 10, 15 is great as well. But there's like a good half hour in the back half of this episode where I just like was like, this is just scenes.
Yeah.
It's just scenes, and it's just like...
I don't know where it was really going.
It's just the Doctor going, da-da-da-da-da-da-da, fix this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. And it's just words, just spitting words out. But... that being said, you've got bloody the Fifth Doctor talking to Tegan about Adric. You've got
Adric,
Sylvester talking to fucking Ace about why they're no longer traveling together.
I kind of called that, by the way. I said old doctors would talk to their companions, and if not, they'll do it with Jodie. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I always assumed it would be Jodie talking with them. But
yeah, I had a feeling that we would get that. But yeah, to get back to the opening, if we're going to try and do it in order.
Opening.
There's so much to say.
Hold on, should we just... Sorry to interrupt you.
Want to play the sting?
We should do our opening. We have the 50% Doctor Who podcast. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at 50doctor.
50% podcast.
And subscribe to the 50% Doctor Who podcast YouTube channel where you can get clips and all sorts of bonus videos where we break down the trailers. Also a TikTok at 50 Doctor Who on TikTok because we do TikTok now because we're trendy and it thank
works.
you. Yes,
somehow
we've already across 3 videos had like a few thousand views.
Yeah, it's pretty
that's
nuts. That's why they keep telling us TikTok is the
way to go, man.
The way to go. Unfortunately, we have to go with the times.
Yeah. So Connor's reaction video is on there, and my trailer breakdown is on there.
Yeah.
We're going to be covering this over the next few weeks. So
a lot to break down. And this week too, I assume, from this episode.
Yes. We've got a few reviews already from this episode that we're going to talk about later. So Power of the Doctor reviews from listeners.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk about those later in the episode. But if you do have some more, feel free to email into us at greeny.who@gmail.com. It'll be linked down below.
And on the screen.
Fuck you, Connor. No, this is going straight up. I don't want to have to do any editing work here. We already had to cut a bit when my laptop magically appeared.
I love it.
Or you can just tweet or Insta.
There's a comment section in the bottom of the video.
Comment section on YouTube videos.
Use if you wish.
Just give us your reviews, and we'll go through them next week because next week is also going to be a chatty episode of the pod where we are. I'd like how I say that, like podcasts aren't normally chatty, but but next week is going to be a bit more looking forward into this new David Tennant RTD era and Shooty apparently from the trailer. So we're going to look at that stuff next week, and we'll, I guess, look at how we feel about this episode a week on as well next week. So
yeah, great. Okay.
What did I cut you off from saying earlier?
That would be the opening, which I thought was really fun. It threw you straight into the episode.
So good, dude.
A space train getting attacked by Cybermen. I thought it was a really fun idea. Mm-hmm. They were trying to steal a child in a box. Who at first I was like, is this the Timeless Child?
I had the exact same thought. By
the way, if you were trying to get an explanation to that...
Nope, out of here.
I was shocked. It didn't even get mentioned.
But you know what?
Crazy.
It finished and I thought to myself, thank God they didn't mention the Timeless Child.
It's crazy.
Because isn't it nice?
My God.
That, like, I'm sure this episode didn't work for everyone, but isn't it great that we're going to finish this era and we're not going to be shit-talking the Timeless Child in the last episode, right? And I know, what was the point of doing it? Well, now it's an enigma. A further enigma into the history of Doctor Who. Is it real? Was it just the Master and Tectaeon fucking shit up? Who the hell knows?
I've never seen anything like it.
Question marks everywhere.
Yeah, there is just question marks everywhere. I mean, I guess that point in the Vanquishers when Jodie chucks the watch into the TARDIS.
That's the weird bit.
I guess that she never really did want to see it.
Yeah, she goes, "We'll hide this somewhere for me, somewhere that I'll never be able to find it." unless I really need to. Which is like...
That might be Chibnall leaving it open with other writers.
I think so. I think that's him basically saying, like,
dive into it.
Don't need this, but, you know, if you want to play with it, if you get the what's the word? Like, the keys to the sandbox or the... the sandbox.
Yeah.
Then by all means, go in there and start having a dig for it.
I guess we now know that the Vanquishers was pretty much the ending of the Timeless Child arc.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't get mentioned, if I'm correct, in Eve, Sea Devils, or this episode. Mm-hmm. So, although we see the Fugitive Doctor for about 10 seconds,
still cool.
It's still awesome to see. But yeah, you know, it was kind of like there and gone. So
what's
I
the
knew he
line?
wouldn't stay on track. I knew he would. We can't even get past the first scene.
I know.
Just hopping everywhere.
What's her line when she comes in? She's like, "Hello, mate. What the hell do you think you're doing?" Or something like that. Like,
she's great, man. Yeah, it's like
such authority to her. I love that.
I really hope it's not the last we see of her.
I think it'll be stupid for any other like writer not to take advantage of this landmark gold mine of a character here and a history that we don't need to know a lot more about, but we can play with.
And it got me with the older. Maybe I'm stupid, but I was like, of course, it's the TARDIS hologram, which apparently is like a really smart AI that acts exactly like the Doctor.
Awfully convenient, but fuck it, fun.
Very awfully convenient, but it means we get to see Ace and Tegan react with their doctors, and it's actually...
That was incredible.
I love that. I thought they couldn't have handled that better. The way they brought in the classic Doctors, I'm like, clever. I think they used it really, really well. I think that's a great way to do it. By the way, my girlfriend got the biggest fright when I saw that scene because she was asleep and I was watching. I was like, "Duh!" And especially when I saw McGann, I was like, "You gotta be kidding me!" Like McGann was the biggest shock. Like I was like, "Okay, they did that," and she got the biggest fright because I was going nuts. I was like something about seeing the other Doctors. It was like amazing to see it, but because McGann hasn't been in like hardly anything, the fact like Doctor Who wise, like. I was just shocked and so happy to see him there.
All of these Doctors, I mean, we had Davison in Time Crash, but other than that, we've not seen these Doctors again. You know? Like, obviously, the collection box sets, they sometimes do little skits that accompany those where they get into costume and stuff for that. But, like, in the canon lore of the show, we've not seen these actors reprise their roles since... some of them came back for Dimensions in Time, I think, which wasn't a... well-loved phenomenon.
Yeah.
But, that was... We are really bouncing all over the place.
I don't know. What did you think of the opening train heist scene?
I thought the moment... so they're all... We've got old mate from Chris Chibnall from Broadchurch.
Yes, Nige.
So he's like really cool. The criminal in Broadchurch, right?
He's Mark Latimer's like best friend.
Yes,
I'm actually... I know all this because we're literally on the final episode of season 3 of Broadchurch, which is the last one. So I think I'm actually finishing that tonight, which is crazy. So I finished 2 Chris Chibnall series finals ever in one night, which is very cool. But yeah, that was really fun to see.
That was cool to have them. But then you've got like the Cybermen attacking the train, Doctor and that. There's like this great shot. Jamie Magnus Stone, we are so lucky to have him as a director.
He's a banger, man.
I think like... Between him and Eros Lynn, Graham Harper, Rachel Taylor, that's the holy trinity Doctor Who directors right there.
I agree.
And I honestly think Jamie Magnus Stone could be the best one.
Yeah.
He crazy.
Is good, man. He is good.
I've loved the visuals.
An underrated gem.
I've loved the visuals in a lot of Chibnall's era, but I've also had problems with some of the color grading. Just makes everything black, right? But like Magnus Stone's episodes are always bloody stunning. Like, everything about them stunning.
There's a really good, like, tracking shot with the Master. I think it's the Master going through the
when he goes to get locked up?
Yeah, in the cell. Like,
very
and it was just really nice. And you could tell it took time. And even, like, the nice pan and out shot with Joe's regeneration scene. Like, the episode really did look nice. And that opening scene was great. And I think he did a great job.
Well, the reason I mentioned that was because there was a shot where Jodie says a line, she puts on a helmet and it pulls back, and then the other two are putting it on.
Dude, I'm like,
and that's so cool. I remember saying, like, literally said that out loud to myself. I'm fucking loving this right now. Like, and then there's almost like a reverse of that when, so there's like the roof caves in on the train, and they're like, what is it? And like through the smoke, the camera like pushes in, and then you just see the outlines of the Cybermen, and they're all frozen. And then all of a sudden they all move at the same time, and Sagun's like,
I love it. I love it.
yeah, and I just thought that little, like, the timing of that, just the way they were still and then they started moving, I thought that was great. Dan nearly dies.
Yeah, so actually one of my biggest gripes of the episode, if that's the word. Gripes of the episode is that Dan just kind of left and then didn't come back to the end. I don't know if John Bishop was doing like a stand-up tour or something.
I assume.
But he was at the beginning. I like the reason why he left, and I understand maybe they want to have a little bit of time with Yaz and the Doctor. I would have liked maybe halfway through to see what he was doing for all this, because it kind of just ends with him, with Graham, like, I know how to read a map, Graham. Like, since when were you buddies? Like, okay, fair enough.
Multiple thoughts about this. So one, I think I totally get where you're coming from. I think, Legend of the Sea Devils being his final kind of story is a bit like, and there is a question of what was the point of Dan? Because he doesn't do an awful lot in his run. I love him. He's so fun. I'm so glad he's part of it. But there is a bit of a question mark. Like, he doesn't do an awful lot in his time on the show, right?
Yeah.
His decision to leave, totally understand that. If he had stayed for half of the episode before deciding to leave, it would then be like he's dogging the Doctor, right? Because she's in a crisis and he's just like,
So no, love, got a date with Diane. He says he's got a date, so clearly it's going well.
Yeah, kind of weird we didn't see Diane, but anyways, so I think it did the right thing. I also think John Bishop did his best performance as Dan when he said goodbye. I thought great. That was really felt
I really
heartfelt.
liked it. I really liked the scene where he left.
Yeah. I thought it was great.
He was great on the space train. I just wanted
great.
more of him,
when he goes like, "It is your Captain Dan speaking. Everything's going to be remain calm. Everything's going to be okay."
I'm saying because like we see so many crossovers in this. Like, who would think we have a scene with Vinder and Kate Stewart and fucking Ace and Tegan and Graham? Like, it's just a really cool thing. I'm like, I wish Dan was here for this, but I generally do think maybe John Bishop just had, because obviously COVID must have been getting a little bit better at this time of filming. He might have been doing some shows that got cancelled and rescheduled. My
understanding is, so this was commissioned as, so when it finally got the green light and they knew what they were doing with the show, I think it was, the 6-part Flux and then 2 2022 specials.
Yeah.
And then that's when there was that whole debate of where did Legends of the Sea Devils come from, because we think that was sort of kind of added afterwards when the BBC were like, oh, can we have a centenary special?
Yeah.
So then, Chibnall and stuff kind of made Legends of the Sea Devils happen to push over to then allow the centenary to be a thing. So I almost think like they've commissioned an extra 90-minute episode, and John Bishop probably just didn't have the availability for it. It's my guess, total just speculation.
I think so, because otherwise, why wasn't he in it more?
Yeah,
I just don't see why he wouldn't have been in it.
It's very unorthodox. So,
but that being said, I agree. I loved his performance, and I think it was realistic the reason why he left. Like,
I agree. He's like 50.
The bullet hole in the head. Like, what he says makes sense. Like, I could have like died.
Yeah, could have died.
But again, I really did. I know we'll talk about it near the end, but I really did love the end scene with him, and I really like that he came back. But he didn't even get to say goodbye to the Doctor, which again I think is quite bittersweet.
Yeah,
almost.
I
almost
really
end on bad terms.
Yeah,
it's kind of cool.
I respect that Jodie kind of left Yaz and Dan to do their goodbyes separately, because, and I don't know where I heard this, but I've heard a few people mention this before, but Dan's almost not the Doctor's companion. Dan's almost Yaz's companion, because the first 3 episodes, he's just with Yaz. So I kind of like that they got to have their little banter, their little one-on-one there. I kind of wish, we didn't. I think the way they handle, well, they don't handle Thasmin in this. There's no Thasmin thing in this
right now. Yeah.
But I like that. I think it's really bittersweet the way they do it at the end.
Pretty crazy. Don't mention that either.
But what I do kind of wish that Dan was like, you got to do what's right for you,
so that's
or
what
something.
I was just about to say.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to say that. I thought he was going to be like, just go for it. Like, I'm not going to be around anymore. I can't keep telling you this. Just go for it. And so I was surprised to not see that happen, and I was also shocked that just never happened. And it was bittersweet. I ain't trying to jump to the end, but I was very happy with how it went.
Yeah.
I liked the way the companions left.
Yeah, same. I agree.
Actually do. And that little group at the end was just, I thought was fantastic, and I really liked it. And with Ace and Tegan, who I thought were used really good, which I was pretty shocked about, and we're in it for a good chunk. I think they're good. They're good examples of how the Doctor does just leave people.
Yeah. Well,
which is really funny.
What I actually think with the Dan thing, why it does really work for me, is I kind of feel like this episode, here we go, wanky filmmaker talk. I feel like it actually has a strong kind of theme through the episode where I think a lot of Chib's era, I've enjoyed. I've enjoyed a lot of it, but I don't think there's ever been that many episodes where I feel like there's been a theme that has tied into multiple strands of the story, which is what Moffat did really well. I think all Moffat, we talk about how the villains and stuff always like tie into the theme of what Moffat's trying to say with the story.
Right.
This episode, whilst I don't think the villains represent that, I think all the other characters have a big element of growing out of the Doctor and leaving the Doctor behind. So like Dan, obviously, he in a way grows out and he's like, I can't do this lifestyle anymore.
Yeah.
You've got Tegan and Ace, who obviously haven't been able to live up that let that lifestyle of the Doctor go. And you've also got, well, in the end, all the other companions who are also there, like, it's hard to let go. We know that, we know that Joe's gone off on an adventurous lifestyle since Sarah Jane Adventures. We know,
we saw that,
we know Bradley Walsh is also doing the same thing, going around.
And Ryan.
Ryan in Patagonia.
We that's so fucking, bang on. Sorry, Ryan couldn't be here. He's in bloody... Where was he? He's like...
Patagonia.
Yeah, I was... By the way, I absolutely loved how Tegan, didn't hold back on the dog.
Yeah, she lashed out.
I thought it was great. And I love how at the end she was like, I think I handled that well. And Ace is telling her off. I think it's great. I think it's realistic. And it makes her scene with Peter Davison so much more meaningful.
It's so
and I thought that Adric line was fucking fantastic. I loved it. And I'm so happy I watched Survival and Earthshock.
So you have an understanding.
Because I'm getting some fat dude. I love when Ace was like, last time I saw you, you were half cat.
Yeah.
And it's like, you got to experiment. And I was like,
there's also
love that Survival reference.
There's
I
another
love Survival as a story. It's so great. My favorite classic story.
There's a really good reference in earlier on when Master first meets. It's the same scene where she talks about the cat thing, and the Master talks about her Tegan's aunt. I can't remember what her aunt's name. I think it starts with an L, but I can't remember.
I was going to ask you about this.
So in Tegan's first story, it's the Master, and the Master shrinks and miniaturizes Tegan's aunt.
What?
So yeah,
in this story with all the shrinked.
Yeah, that's like what the Master's always done. The shrinking thing. I keep hitting my mic. The Master's always done that shrinking thing. So
I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah, so her aunt died in the first story.
Shit.
So yeah, it was.
Does he say something like, "How's your aunt going?" Or something like that?
Yeah, do you keep her in a dollhouse? I think he says, or something like that.
I thought they all did fantastic.
Yeah,
and that scene was, and I know it's fan servicey, but I eat that shit like it's fucking breakfast, man.
So good.
I thought it was fantastic. Just seeing those characters just interacting is endless, just fun and potential.
Do you kind of feel? And look, I think the 50th is a more well-rounded story where the plot is a lot stronger than this. But do you almost feel like this is a better celebration of Doctor Who than the 50th was?
I think you got to give this episode credit for doing stuff that I feel like Stephen just didn't really want to touch, i.e. even bringing back the fact that, it's funny, I quickly, when the last 15 minutes was happening, I quickly ran out and did a tea, and Mum was like, have you seen David yet? I was like, no, but we've seen the 1st, the 5th, the 6th, the 7th, and the 8th.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I don't believe this. And I'm like, this is something that I feel like should have been in the 50th. So yeah, I totally get your point.
Yeah.
And all the companions, even when I saw Ian at the end, I was like, Ian's going to eat this up, man.
Dude.
Even that was so lovely. And I feel like, Stephen definitely held back on that stuff.
Yeah, I think so.
I think
surely,
it's a good point, what you're making.
I know there was a lot of issues making the 50th where they didn't have cast locked in for a long time, but surely
just Jenna, wasn't it?
Jenna was the day of Clara.
Yeah, the day of Clara. Clara who? I love that.
But surely it's not hard to all these actors and stuff. I know they do some acting, a lot of theatre from time to time, but a lot of them make a lot of money still just doing convention circuits endlessly and stuff like that.
You can retire.
I'm sure that they would have been more than happy to come back for the 50th. But
I think it's a really cool, interesting conversation to have, which I feel like I could sit here for an hour and talk about this. But
we must talk about.
Yeah, like I know one of my dad's big criticisms with the 50th, because we went to go see it at the theatre together. He was like, I do think there were going to be more like companions and doctors and stuff, and I think it's a valid criticism to have. And I think as we theorised, it was going to be a fun 100th anniversary special with the BBC, and we were hoping that we see companions and doctors, and boy did we. And not only that, I had like next to no complaints about those scenes.
Yeah, no, not at all.
So happy with them. I'm so happy they exist, man. I just had the biggest, dumbest smile, man. I was clapping like a seal.
Yeah.
Waking up my girlfriend. I was just like, oh my God.
So when
so much screaming, man.
When I woke up, I'm like, I'm not touching my phone.
Yeah, neither did I, man. Didn't get spoiled for anything. Thank God.
I saw like, because I'd set my alarm for 4 a.m. to post asking for people's reviews the moment it finished in the UK. So I posted that, went to bed, woke up and like a few hours later and saw like I had notifications. I was like swiping that shit away.
Go away.
I saw like Crispy and Troy went live on Who's There, and I was like, get the fuck out of here. I'm not looking at that.
But go away. Yeah.
So next minute,
you
know, with my girlfriend, and she's like on her phone, and I'm like, oh, I can't go on my phone because I don't want to see anything online.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, okay, well. And she just like keeps scrolling down her phone, and the next minute she like looks at me and she's like, and I'm like, oh, you're fucking googling what happens at you, and she's like,
well, Nicole loves to do that, doesn't she? Doesn't she like
Dude,
always
she
Google shit before watching the show to know what happens?
Yeah, she'll Google the end of movies 10 minutes into the
Did
movie.
she do that with Stranger Things? Checked out like who
drives me
passed and that?
insane. Yeah.
Hey, some people, I know Kim likes doing that, and I'm like, she's like, I'd rather know. It just makes me too nervous. If,
Yeah,
like,
that's what
someone's
Nick
gonna
says.
die. And I'm like, that's the point of the show.
Yeah.
Watch it. It's supposed to make you feel that way.
Anyways, yeah, she was like, and I was like, do you know who Jodie regenerates into? And she was like,
Wow.
And I was like, wow. And I was like watching her face, and she was like, She was clearly reading like an article and was like reacting to all these different parts, like Dave regenerates into Davey, but don't worry, there's a Shooty Gatwa cameo in the trailer, and she was like just getting really confused reading it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like the whole morning I was like, great, my girlfriend knows what happens, and I don't yet. I'm waiting for her to leave so I can watch it.
I know. I always get super jealous when I wake up and I'm like, man, I wish I lived in the UK where I could just watch this shit and have to worry about spoilers because everyone just watches it at the same time. Like, it's really nice, and you got to like avoid your phone. Like sometimes after I watch the episodes, I play this game where I go on Twitter. I'm like, how long does it actually take me to see a spoiler?
Straight away.
And it was literally like maybe like,
yeah.
And I was like, you're pretty much fudged if you go on it. And I kept my fucking phone away from me. I was so happy with all the surprise. I'm not even just talking about David at the end, which obviously was a beautiful surprise.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about all those Doctor cameos. Companions. Just so happy I got to see all that live.
I cheered for each Doctor whenever they had their little like pan around moment.
Yeah.
And then I cried during Davison and Tegan's conversation.
So good, man. So good.
And then with Ace and Sylvester, I was like, no, the moment it cut to Ace after the Tegan scene, I went, fuck yeah, they're going to do it here too. Like, they're going to do it here.
What's going on?
And then I cried with the companions at the end, with seeing bloody Ian. Yeah.
Chesterton.
Fucking got me. Dude, he's doing so well. Like, you would not think he's like 97, 98. Like,
I love that, man. I think that's...
so
yeah, so I need to ask you this.
Yes.
So,
hit me.
We obviously in the show don't see Ace and the Doctor. By the way, I love how she continues to call even Jodie Professor.
Yeah.
Loved it.
I love how she has the Nitro 9 ready to go.
It.
That's great.
Oh, is that a reference as well?
She blows everything up in Classic Who. She carries Nitro 9 around with her and just blows everything up.
Oh, I love that. So they reference a fight they had.
Not in the show.
Okay.
Is that your question?
So, well, I do know that because I've seen Survival, but is that what they're going for now, canon-wise? Is that they had a bit of an argument or a disagreement?
Yeah, so I guess they've either like made that up, or perhaps there is like a big finish or a comic or something that they base that off of. Please let us know in the comments. We'd love to...
Did you say you never read that book, though? That Sophie Aldridge, is that released?
Yeah, but that's about her meeting the 13th Doctor.
Oh, okay. But does she reference anything like that in it? Or?
I don't know. I've not read it. But,
okay, all right.
But that book's kind of like...
Yeah,
she meets the 13th Doctor for the first time in that book, so now that's kind of like not really canon, I guess.
Well, I still really loved it, regardlessly, and I was just interested to see how they would handle that.
But I think it's great because you don't have to explain everything. You know, you can just be like, we had an argument. We don't have to see that argument. We don't have to
And it was nice that they just like were like, it was just dumb and we forgive each other. And yeah, man, there was something special about seeing Sylvester back for me personally, because I always feel like he was kind of like the black sheep, and I loved him when I watched him in Classic Who, which granted I haven't seen a lot, but I loved him in it, and to see those two characters together again was yeah, man, it was something special. Only a show like Doctor Who I feel like can do something like that as well.
Yeah,
it's very unique in the way that they can do that.
Yeah, I think Sylvester's like my favorite Classic Doctor.
Yeah.
So seeing him back, that was awesome. But I don't know, something about Davison really got to me in this one. I'm not sure what it was. I think because for a while, like, as a kid, he was my favorite Classic Doctor before I'd seen any Sylvester.
Yeah.
And he was like my first exposure to Classic Who, I think.
And the Adric mention was
so
good.
I think they really made like Earthshock even more of a big story than it was, because now it's got emotional weight in terms of all of these, like Tegan and the Doctor have this ghost of Adric, right? Like they have this emotional ghost on them, and that makes Earthshock, which is a relatively emotional episode for Classic Who as it is, now really more emotional, knowing how much that does affect the companions.
Oh man, like it's actually kind of amazing to think the Doctor in like he and she's head like would be thinking about Adric all the time when they see the Cybermen. I just think that's just so cool, man. Like I really think that's really cool.
How good was it that Tegan like turned around and she was like, no, I need to go with Kate to fight the Cybermen, because it's like personal for Tegan. She needs to be there to close that off for her.
I thought it was great, and Ace jumping off a building,
so good.
That TARDIS shot, although it was really silly what happened, that TARDIS shot looked stunning
when she slides into the TARDIS through. Yeah,
it looked great.
Jamie does the coolest shit.
He did it so well. Like, is it silly? Yes. Could Yaz do that like without knowing how to fly a TARDIS? No, but I don't care. You know what, there's so much shit I was just like, I feel like this would annoy me, but I'm like having so much fun with it. What did you think of the Master dancing? I thought it was just the funniest, dumbest shit I've ever seen. Dude, the Dalek and Simon looking at each other, I literally fucking howled. I thought it was so... Just the way they... I love how they're enemies, though. And it's the funniest thing, they fucking hate each other. And even they're like...
What the fuck?
I love that.
Okay,
so funny.
I laughed my ass off. I really did. The build-up to it was great as well. Like, there's like this slight pause... And then it kicks in, and then within like 2 or 3 seconds, I was like, fucking hell, like,
dude,
in
Sasha's
stitches.
loving it. He's just like, fucking, dude.
It's so funny.
Dancing, man. It's so
and like,
funny.
it's like cross-cutting to different scenes as well between it, with Rasputin in the background.
Yeah, Vinder's like calling the Doctor, and it's still playing.
Yeah, it's so funny.
I'm just like, this is so funny.
I literally, last night, I sent you the classic bingo sheet, and it was like,
oh god,
Power of the Doctor bingo, and it's the classic, like,
font. There was so much.
Yeah, like, it's the classic, I hate to do it, but it's like a mild, take the piss out of the things that are very repetitive in the Chibnall era. Like, the big blocky font, like millions of characters with nothing to do, like dialogue that's exposition and stuff.
Lord.
And then one of them was like an awkward joke that doesn't quite land. And that for me is what this era is. There is so many awkward jokes where I'm like, it just... somewhere, as either the way the line's written or the way it was delivered just wasn't funny. But in all honesty, I laughed a lot in this episode. And I think... Chibnall's writing, I think, was pretty solid this episode. Same as you, I think the plot was like, what the fuck's going on? It doesn't make sense. Don't really need it to make sense because there's so much sauce.
Yeah.
But, the sauce.
Yeah.
But, no, sorry. Rasputin good is
honestly,
the answer.
Man, I just think Chibnall was like, at his laptop, he was like, fuck it. The Master dances to, what's it called?
Rasputin.
Rasputin.
Yeah.
And I just... I was like, this is so dumb and cheesy.
That's like Sound of Drums all over again.
It. Yeah, literally.
Here come the drums, here come the drums. Hey there, baby.
Like, yeah, the Master loves to dance, and be a silly goose.
Let's focus on the Master for a second. We also saw
please.
him hypnotizing in this episode, which I don't think we have seen in New Who, have we?
Old eyes.
Yeah, look into my eyes, boys. Yeah, and I thought that was great. I thought Sasha's performance was the best he's ever been. I think
he's gonna be missed.
He had the crazy side, but more reserved. Yeah. Like, there's definitely an argument out there that he's slightly too crazy in Series 12 to the point where he's just like insane, rather than the Master, who is traditionally a lot more reserved. Which different generations you can be different, sure,
of course.
But this one I think had a great balance of like he had that reserved Master, but like it felt like inside every now and then like this crazy fucking insanity would like just creak out of the cracks. And I really love that. I think this is his best performance. What about you?
I wanted to. Oh yeah. I loved him. I thought it was great. Sasha is amazing. I'd love to see him come back in the future. Maybe with John Sim, Michelle Gomez, and Sasha. That would be fucking awesome. I wanted to ask you, what did you think about? Would you say the Master was like kind of like the main villain? Because I know you thought that Chibnall would have something else up his sleeve. Remember we spoke about
he
that.
was the main villain. Yeah.
Yeah. So what did you think of that? Even though you kind of,
I was happy with it. It was a very master plan in terms of, I feel like a lot.
I love that.
That was a great joke. The master plan
ace
thing.
Joke
Dude. I know it was so on the nose.
Cheers.
And he played with it for like 2 or 3 sentences too long, but fuck it was still really fun.
Yeah.
I thought he was great, and I thought he had so much to do in it that he was.
He does. He's the reason she dies.
Yeah.
Regenerates.
I thought.
Like, fuck yeah.
Sorry, what I was saying was the master plan. It's a very master plan in the way of like, it's just a lot of shit. Like, I feel like a lot of the time in Classic Who, the master just like throws shit together and is like, this is my plan, this is my evil scheme. And that's kind of like what this felt like.
Yeah.
It was very like, okay, you're putting a planet here, you're doing this planets are at war.
Like planet made of steel. Oh, it's so silly, man. I love it though.
He's like talking to the news reporters of a planet, being like, hey, I did this. Dressed as the Doctor, as all the Doctors.
That was pretty fun, isn't it?
Yeah, it was fun. A fun little touch.
A little bit of Sylvester, the old scarf, Jodie's
bit
coat.
of Jodie, yeah. And the flute.
And the flute, that was great. I think he might have been one of David's ties. I might be wrong, but I thought that was maybe one of David's ties.
Yeah, I didn't notice.
Yeah, I think that was a rumor from a while ago that Jodie. I know it was the Master, but I know she turns back into. He turns back into Jodie, but there was a rumor going around that the Doctor would kind of like be wearing old Doctor's costumes.
Yeah,
and again for 100th anniversary of the BBC, I thought it was a really fun little touch.
Dust them off out of the archive.
We'd already gotten the Doctors though, and I'm like, this is just a bit of extra.
By that point, it was like, okay.
I kind of missed this, but doesn't the 8th Doctor say something like he's the only one who's not wearing the robes? He's just wearing his costume. He's just like, I don't want to do that. I kind of missed that joke. The good thing again is like I actually talking about this now. I actually kind of want to go home and watch it again.
So do I. Yeah.
But obviously there's stuff that I missed out on. But I just can't believe we got Paul McGann back, man. That is so cool, and it just opens up more stuff for the future, which I think is just. So cool, man.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I love it.
It does sort of raise a question, and next week is going to be an episode of the podcast more looking forward towards, that trailer that we got, the DT, RTD2 era.
Let's go.
And I guess in that we'll talk about this a bit more, but it does like put a big question mark over. We've had these classic Doctors come back in the 60th, in the Power of the Doctor. Yeah. Like, what are they going to do in the 60th? Or is the 60th, it's going to be David and Catherine and then looking forward into the future rather than the past?
Well, my theory would be, because obviously we didn't get like a Matt Smith or a Peter.
That's true, yeah.
So I think, this theory could be all bollocks because, they didn't know the 60th was going to happen with Russell. But, I think they decided to focus more on classic Doctors, and I guess it's a perfect opportunity to focus on newer Doctors in the 60th, which honestly might not happen. It's funny because Russell put out a thing today saying like, if you think that reveal was big, wait for this one. So it very much could be another bit of Cameo City, but considering how people receive this, I've heard people be so happy about just seeing them again. I think it was you can always use the argument of being too fan servicey, but I just thought it was great, and it's a celebration. It's supposed to be like that.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
It's supposed to be a celebratory episode. It's meant to be like that, and I'm not entirely
sure what the general consensus is. I've not really read any reviews by any newspapers and things like that, and I've seen a relatively mixed response online, like more towards good, I think, but I don't know. I've been so busy making shit for the channel this morning that I've not
checked out a lot of stuff either. But I think you're gonna get the classic hate, obviously. You're gonna get the people saying thank God it's over.
Yep.
But I saw a really good tweet. I can't remember the YouTuber's name. But either way, he made a really good tweet where he was just like, you know, it was a Chris Chibnall centenary special. Like,
Yeah.
And what was I expecting? Literally that. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what I went in with it. I was like, it's going to be a Chris Chibnall written
It's going to be messy.
special. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I think because I, you know, set my expectations to that, I think it really helped with the episode. Because, yeah, that's exactly what it was. I think if you go in like that, you're going to have a really good time.
I agree.
But yeah, I think people enjoyed it. It's nice to hear. Like, I know we all enjoyed it, which is like the main thing, I think. But yeah.
I literally last night, this is so lame, all night last night, I woke up about every hour having like a nightmare. And that nightmare was that, and it was literally the dumbest nightmare. It was that I would wake up and check my phone and see all the spoilers. I literally had that dream about 4 or 5 times last night.
That's a worthy nightmare.
It was the worst sleep ever because I was dreaming about fucking Doctor Who getting spoiled.
Yeah. I have been like having somehow like for the last week I've just been like going to bed and just kind of just thinking about this episode and what the future will hold, and I was just getting so excited.
There's been some cool trailers as well. So.
Oh man, like yeah, literally like I remember last night I don't know if you saw it, but it was like David Tennant was signing like fans stuff.
Yeah.
And woman was like, can't wait to see you in the centenary tomorrow. And he's like, oh really? Who's in that? And she's like, you, I hope. And he's like, nah. I watched that shit maybe like 15 times.
Yeah,
and
it's
she
so good.
was like, how many times are you gonna watch that? I'm like, but babe, this is legit. Like he's gonna be in it. I'm telling you right now, he's gonna be in it.
That was that trailer as well where it was like all the regenerations and stuff, and then it was like the moment has been prepared for, and it was really cool. Yeah,
the BBC were doing really cool stuff. They did like all the regenerations like heading up slowly towards Jodie's. I think that was some good marketing. They were coming in good.
I was thinking,
bit, you know,
I was driving the other day and I just had this thought. I was yesterday actually. I had this thought about making a meme where it was like the BBC's marketing, and it's like that horse. And it's, you know, the horse is split into 4 parts. The first 3 are completely empty. And then, like, the first one is, like, the horse on fire, godlike. Like, because the marketing the last 2 weeks has been incredible.
Literally, it's like the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah.
Could have done with a few things a little earlier on. But look, let's move on from that.
Yeah.
Rounding it back to the episode. So, both like the Master.
Yeah.
Yaz and we really need to spend a bit of time talking about Jodie.
Okay, yep.
Let's do Yaz first and then save Jodie for a big chat down the line.
Okay.
How do you feel about Yaz this week?
Oh, look, fine. I think I felt exactly how I thought I would. I've never really been that connected to her character. I think Man at Gill is incredibly sweet, and I think they were done a little bit dirty with their characters. It could have been done so much better and had so much more, but I think I respect what they were going for. I was very shocked we didn't get any more fams and stuff, to be honest. I was really expecting that. But I do like the bittersweet ending, though.
I think it's really bittersweet, and I think it's wrong as well for the Doctor to commit to that, because it's clear that the Doctor doesn't want that. Like, she has those feelings for Yaz, but she's aware that she's going to change soon and doesn't want to go through all that with her. So I think it would be wrong to do the Thasmin kiss, because it's like then she's just leading her on just to change and, you know, fuck her off, because she literally was
You're pretty much right what you said last week.
Yeah?
Like, you were pretty bang on with what happened. Ish. Like, you just like you pretty much like the whole thing you said about how they won't get what they want, but they get what they needed, and I think that kind of was what they were going for. Like,
Yaz knows that she has to lead the Doctor. I really like the way that they shot that last scene between them as well, where she walks and it's these really like full long shots from really far away of them looking at each other, and they just do that little nod and they don't say goodbye. And also we have that lovely ice cream looking over the planet Earth scene. I thought that was really lovely. I really like how I think it was great that she was like, let's not say goodbye.
Yeah. Look, I've been quite vocal about not really liking the character, and can I just say as well, this was unlike any regeneration I've ever had before, where like I wasn't incredibly sad, but I was more I had a good smile on my face. Well, you can literally see it, my reaction. I had a good smile on my face. You know, I wasn't too sad. Nor did I think it was really a sad regeneration, though. I think it was quite acceptance, you know. And I think, the episode's kind of about acceptance. And, you know, Dan accepted it. Yaz accepted it. And I think she has a really nice scene at the end where they're like, do you think she'll be okay? And she's like, of course, she's the Doctor. And, yeah, it was it was a nice ending, I think.
Yeah, I think it was really lovely. I think, and the way they cross-cut the companions talking to the Doctor going to regenerate, I thought that was really lovely and a great way to build up to a solo regeneration, like without a companion there. Because sometimes it's kind of like, you know, you have Pete who just delivers this big monologue to himself, and that is kind of Pete because he has so many moments talking to himself. He has Heaven Sent, so having a 5-minute scene at the end where he's just like spitting word vomit out into the ether, I think that was fine. But to have like multiple Doctors on their own, like regenerating, I feel like how do you keep that unique? You know, and I thought cross-cutting Jodie on her own to the companions was a really, really sweet touch.
I think. What
is with this?
I completely agree. I think it was great, and you're right. Like how many times can you do a regeneration and keep it fresh? And I think especially since Pete was so upset about having to die, and I think Jodie at the start is like, I want more time, but then it's kind of like I really like how she was like, I think I should do this on my own.
Yeah.
And I think that's why, even though I don't really have much of a connection to her Doctor, I think also another reason why I didn't find it too sad is that like it was a happy regeneration.
It was, which is refreshing.
It was, and she was just really sweet in it. I loved her dialogue, which was something I didn't think I was going to say about her final scene.
Yeah.
I know Jodie said she really loved it, and I was like, will I love it though? And I was like, yeah, I did.
Goes back to her being like a playful, like primary school teacher kind of character, right? What did she say? She's like, tag you're it, like.
Yeah, so it's like whoever's next, like tag you're it. And another thing I loved as well was when she leaves the TARDIS, she looks up at the TARDIS and says, look after the next one.
Yeah, right.
I love that.
That's great. Yeah,
that Doctor TARDIS relationship is so beautiful, and with Jamie's direction as well, which is
like that shot where
so
she's like silhouetted leaving the TARDIS is really nice, and then obviously the really lovely close-ups on her at that sunset is stunning, and then you have that amazing like pan,
that pan was
like
beautiful.
we like kind of spin out, and it's fucking stunning, that shit. It's stunning. We're not going to go to the other side of the regeneration just yet.
Yeah, because I have a question to ask you about that.
I want to quickly say, I enjoyed Manda. I think there were some great subtle scenes of her acting. I think there's a moment where, I think it's the scene where Master's like, this is the end of your existence or something like that.
Yeah.
And I think in that scene, Connor's just off the mic.
I'm getting over a cold.
Oh, he's getting a tissue. No, because you're crying, because we're talking about the regeneration.
Oh, it's the regeneration.
Oh, God. Yeah, there's a scene, and the Master's like right in Yaz's face. It's just before she gets the gun.
Yeah.
And the Master's right in her face, and she's not looking at him. And it's clear that she is like uncomfortable, and she like hates what is happening right now. I thought Manda did a really, really good performance. I think she was slightly underutilized. Yeah, I feel like she did kind of move the plot along in the back half. So it's a weird one.
It is a weird one. I get what you mean.
Yeah.
Totally.
All right, Jodie.
One
final big 90-minute adventure with Jodie.
Yes.
She's not in all of it. I do think it felt like a big Jodie episode, though.
Yeah.
I've seen a few, like the 1 or 2 reviews that I have watched online from people have all sort of said, it's Jodie's last episode, but they felt like Jodie wasn't really at the forefront. And granted, there's definitely moments where she's not, because there's classic Doctors and things like that. Yeah. But I feel like the first like half an hour was like Jodie on fire. I thought Jodie did so good. And then the back half hour as well, same again. I just think in the middle, there was a bit where it was like, oh, we're going to go off and do other stuff with other characters. And I think that's fine. I really liked Jodie's performance this episode. Everything about it, to be honest.
Yeah, you know what's so funny? I didn't really think about it like that. And with the whole Jodie's not really in it. But, back in my mind, it's like, yeah, you did kind of feel that like way. And I think, but that's kind of what I like about the episode so much, is that it really does feel like a unique story and a way to do it. It's unlike any regeneration episode. I think that's why it will stand out for me. And I really love it as a regeneration episode. I think it works. I just think it's different. And yeah, she isn't in like every scene per se, but I also think it also had the job of handling the title of it being a centenary as well.
Yeah.
So you're going to need to chuck in stuff like the older doctors and, you know, companions and stuff. And one of the big things that people were worried about was how much screen time Ace and Tegan would get. And I think they had heaps.
Perfect amount.
I think they had heaps, you know, and I really liked that though.
And I felt like the classic Doctors as well also had the perfect amount.
I
like,
totally agree. Yeah.
I sort of, they had that first scene where it was all of them. And I was like, I feel like I just want something more. Like I had a taste of it and I just wanted a good bite of whatever was coming. And then they gave it to us. I feel bad for Colin because he obviously didn't get a proper scene or McGann, but it's also like, they don't, like, I think, we could have had a scene with Bonnie, but
in the future.
Yeah, we can. Well, apparently Bonnie's in the 60th specials. Bonnie is Mel, the ginger companion you would have seen there.
So maybe,
and that's one of Colin's main companions.
Can I just quickly say real quick before I forget?
No.
David Bradley, man. What a cool...
David Bradley?
Am I
Or
saying
Bradley
right?
Walsh? Which one do you want?
David Bradley
Take your
playing
pick.
the first Doctor.
Yeah, he's so good.
I always get those two mixed
I know,
up. Bradley
yeah.
Walsh and David Bradley. It was such a cool surprise to see him again playing
It
the
was.
first Doctor.
Yeah.
I loved that. Yeah, not much to say about that, but yeah, just wanted to mention that. I thought that was a beautiful surprise.
And I like how we just run with it now. Like, no one's
so
questioning,
good.
like, oh, why are you recasting him and stuff? It's just kind of like, everyone just accepts it now, I think.
Do you think that maybe they might do that with the second and third if they find the right actor?
I think if there's ever a story that needs it, then maybe.
Maybe.
But like, I couldn't see them just like on a whim, like next year in the 60th, like recasting them. I couldn't really see them doing
Also,
that.
one more thing. I'm just saying on shit now because I'm going to forget.
Yeah.
Do you think they're leaving Tom for the 60th for one last scene?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. I don't think that was intentional, but maybe. I don't
Why
know
do you think he was in it then?
why he wasn't in it.
Yeah.
Oh, like he might just literally. He's a really old guy, and I think like
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe there was like a logistic thing. Everyone's coming out of COVID at the time they're filming this. Like bringing in a like what's he like late 80s or something?
Yeah, okay.
Tom like probably isn't the greatest thing for him.
Yeah. Okay.
Like moving him down to Cardiff to shoot and stuff. But
I wonder if I could just put like a green screen up in his,
in his
home or
house,
something.
yeah.
Probably could have done something like that.
yeah, maybe, yeah.
I'd love to see some BTS or the old Doctors filming this.
I really hope we get some luscious stuff to come.
Surely that would be awesome. Just see like
You know-
Paul McGann walking like it's great to play the Doctor again.
You know what
That
was
would be
great?
So cool, man.
So for a while, the last few episodes of the pod, I've sort of said, "Ooh, are we going to get some classic Doctors in the centenary?"
Yeah.
I watched a video the day, like yesterday, I think, where it was breaking down where the rumor came from, and they basically said, like, it's kind of like it's probably bollocks. Like it basically said, you know, they were filming the Power of the Doctor whilst the Doctors were seen in a town just outside of Cardiff,
Okay.
but they were also filming a classic Doctor Who documentary at the time,
Right.
which no one's seen yet, so we don't know what actors are in it and stuff.
Is that Doctor Who am I?
No, it's a different one.
Okay.
So the person who made the video said like it probably was they were there filming for that documentary.
Right.
But no, I think they were there filming this because
Wow.
it was I think it was Colin, David Bradley, and Sylvester. I want to say it was the three of them. I think in the photo. But yeah, so that's I agree. I think that's awesome. I want to say
Yeah. Great.
a great cheer moment for me.
Mm-hmm.
I did not expect Bradley Walsh to appear until the final scene of the episode. I really thought he was just going to be there to be like, goodbye, Doc.
Yeah, that was really great. And to run into Ace.
His appearance with Ace,
yeah.
I fucking cheered because he
Yeah,
caught me
dude.
off guard. He just
caught
like
me off guard as well.
jumps
That was
in.
really great.
Oh.
That was really great, man. Yeah, no.
And what a pairing.
Literally, this is what I mean by like the,
Come on, Big
the
Finish.
pair ups. Yeah, literally. Like, yeah, man. Like that was a really great surprise. Yeah, what a crazy pair up, man.
Crazy pair up. Lots
It's
of good
full of
pair
so
ups.
many great moments.
Yeah, yep. I think I felt like Kate, whilst not at the forefront of things,
Yes, I want to ask you
along
about
with
Kate
the
as
unit,
well, yeah.
I felt like she served a purpose, and I think she was in it enough. Like they didn't try and force her into the plot too much, but she was there, along with Ashad, who we should also talk about shortly.
Yeah, I wonder if she'll rock up again.
I think she will.
Probably. She's like been with so many Doctors now. It's pretty nuts.
Yeah, it's great. I'll keep bringing it back. Keep
No,
doing it.
I think it's great. Yeah.
I was thinking there was a great. It is a one shot, but it's only for like 15 or 20 seconds long. But this shot of Ashad storming through unit, like shooting shit.
Yes.
And look, my immediate thought was he doesn't say a lot in this episode. Like he's not got a massive character role in this episode, but the physicality that the actor that plays Ashad brings is unreal. Like the way he just storms through. I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna
like,
kill you.
boom, boom,
I'm gonna kill you.
boom.
Like he's
Yeah.
so fucking good. Like I really enjoy Ashton, and I hope he comes back. I really hope he's like not all the time, but becomes like the Davros of the Sidemen. Like they build him up because right now he is just like a bloke. Like, he's a half Sideman, half person still.
Yeah.
I would love for them to bring him back and give him this big like this role where he takes this big bit of authority over the Sidemen. Just because having a human villain in the Sidemen would be much better because the Sidemen are just like robot boys.
Yeah.
Oh, kind of dying.
Sorry.
You're right.
There's that coal coming through. Yeah, no, I've always never been like a huge fan of him, but I thought that his presence in the episode was really cool. And something about a bunch of Sidemen taking over unit and attacking it was just really cool. And the way they just like Ace and Tegan just fucking flip that table, just grab some guns and just start
picked
shooting
them up off the floor.
I'm like, yo, it slaps.
And
like,
that was great. They were like running up the tower, the spiral staircase, and you could see the Sidemen coming out, and then Unit were at the top shooting down.
It's just like really fun about just Sidemen attacking Unit base. It's a funny joke when the building gets blown up and they're just like, oh, we just paid it off.
We just signed the lease.
Blown up, yeah. Oh, that was it. I just signed the lease. Like,
yeah,
man. Like I said, like I think overall as like a story and as an episode, like it's like it's messy as hell, but I think there's so many moments in it that we're gonna look back on for a very long time and enjoy.
Big moments.
Yeah.
Two, I want very quick answers, please, because we got to get a wriggle on.
Yeah.
What did you think of the Master's plan in terms of kind of becoming the Doctor? And then also, what did you think of the species that was being harnessed that kind of went somewhere, kind of didn't? Like, it started off in the episode, like the kid.
Yeah, I thought that was really dumb.
And it was going to be really big, and it didn't really go anywhere. It was just an energy
I
source.
thought that was dumb and went nowhere. And as for the Master, I mean, it was something that we didn't pick up on and no one really predicted it was going to happen. Was I like, no, Jodie's never going to come back? I was like, of course she is. And it was just a way of changing it back. And I thought it was fine. Like, I think it was fine.
Yeah, I feel the same. I like how he still had the earring, Jodie's earring.
Yeah, we were always talking about that. If
what would
the
happen?
earring would happen. Yeah, I think whenever it tries to do a story arc, it kind of falls flat on its face. But
yeah, like the volcano stuff, all that was
dude,
like the paintings.
Did you just freeze that with steel? Yes, I did.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, just next scene.
All the Vinda stuff was like...
okay, right, whatever. I'm not even going to bother trying to think about that.
Vinda came... Like, I think his purpose in the plot was to hold a gun to the Master's head. I think that's genuinely the only thing he did.
I loved seeing him again, but I was like...
Yeah, he's a great presence.
You had no fucking reason to be.
Yeah, literally.
No reason.
Like, they didn't even keep him there. Because, like, at the end,
they
they do the cool thing where they're all, like, around the console. They didn't even keep him there for that. Like, he wasn't there to be another face.
No, you go over there. It's like, oh,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I love how it's like, I just fixed your ship, and literally it's just a shot. It's like, thanks, Doctor.
Yeah, it's just
Boom.
ADR.
And then it's like, alright, and you never see him again. You probably never will again. Great.
Big time.
I loved seeing him. Because I think, what's his name? Anderson something?
Jacob Anderson.
Yeah, I think he's a very charismatic actor. Yeah, it didn't really... I mean, there was no reason to be there. Was I glad he was? Yes.
All right, one very last quick one. Probably should have spoken about it when we were talking about the classic Doctors.
I'm glad we're kind of fitting it all in. I feel like we actually have done it. I was worried we wouldn't do everything.
Yeah, I think we've almost hit everything. We got the regenerate,
the
back half of that regeneration scene to go, and a question around that.
Yeah.
But one final thing sort of in the plot that I want to say, and I'm stalling because I've forgotten what it was that I was wanting to ask.
Well done, Aiden. You can do it.
I'm thinking about Doctors, about other cast members. Classic Doctors. What do you think of the way, like we spoke about the AI thing and thought that was a cool thing to bring them Doctors into it. What do you think of the way in terms of like in the Doctor's mind? Did you accept that is a... I don't know.
What, the AI? Like, why it was so smart and shit?
No, not the AI, but when we saw the classic Doctors first and we were sort of in the Doctor's mind.
Oh, yeah.
Did you enjoy that? Like,
yeah.
do you that as a concept, does that work for you?
It kind of looked like a desert.
Yeah.
And, I mean, like, I kind of wasn't really... I didn't really care because I was like, I'm not really focusing on that shit because, like, I'm like, oh, you know, this is so cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that was cool. The way they were, like, switching, I think worked really well.
Yeah.
And the way they would switch with obviously Ace and Tegan and stuff, I thought was great. I think it worked. Again, I think whenever it tried to do something, I was more interested in just character moments and scenes.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think it's the same with that. You know,
I feel the same. I wonder what the thinking was behind where they put them. Like it worked for me because it was like a mind palace kind of thing, which we all accept because of Sherlock,
some
and
desert or some shit. Like
and we've seen the Doctor use that in the past with Pete in the TARDIS in Heaven Sent.
Correct.
But I wonder, like, because they were underneath a like telephone pole, and I think that was meant to be like a crossroads.
Yeah, it kind of was like a telephone.
Like where paths cross, maybe was what they were going for. I don't know.
It was kind of obscure, but again, I kind of got distracted by.
I liked it.
Obviously, all the familiar faces,
all the cool shit. All right, so we're obviously not diving too deep into other plot stuff because I don't know what the volcano shit was about, what the Daleks were doing.
But there was a Dalek rat.
Yeah, Dalek rat.
That just ran and it was like, I just don't believe in it.
Yeah.
I'm going to go against them.
Okay, dear.
And the Dalek's like, we knew you were going to do this. I'm like, how convenient. Anyway. Literally, it's so funny.
So let's talk about the last minute. So Jodie's up there, she's regenerating. Jodie's last line is like, well, we talked about her last line, the tagline, whatever. But she also says, like, the worst part is, I just want to know what comes next.
I love that line.
I love that line. Do you think that this was... Because, we've said they didn't know what was going to come after that regeneration for a long time. Like, they shot it on the green screen. They thought it could just go to the title sequence while she's regenerating. I honestly feel like there is a version of this where Jodie goes, I don't want this to end. And then she says, like, whoever the next Doctor is, tag you're it. Regenerates. I want that awesome pullback shot. Then we go to the title sequence.
So I was about to ask you that. I was like, when did you think it was going to cut?
I never thought it would because the way that things have been spoken about it was obvious that.
No, I mean, like, what if there was no showrunner up next? I'm
right,
saying,
like if it did end.
Yeah, I was literally about to ask, like, when do you think it would have like gone
on that pullback? And I reckon the dialogue is also perfectly written to be like
pretty nuts, man, to think that was gonna happen.
Whatever Doctor's next, the fact that she talks like that and it's very vague.
Yeah,
I think, I just think it's definitely. Yeah, I don't think they had any idea what was going to come next.
Yeah, that's so interesting, man. That shit is like wild.
We'll get Crispy to make a video.
What could have happened? What was going to happen?
What could have happened if the centenary didn't wasn't continued?
It's pretty crazy to think that was the case, but
of course it cuts back in. You start to see the costume that we've all seen from the set pics, and then David Tennant appears. He does exactly what we said. What?
And I don't care.
What?
I loved every fucking second. Well, by the way, I did love the teeth. The second he started sucking his teeth, I was like, he's gonna actually say it in my reaction video. I'm like, the teeth.
Yeah, he goes, I know these teeth. I know these teeth. Yeah.
So that's so. By the way, our first bit of Russell dialogue.
Yes. Yep.
Loved it.
Yep.
I'm not trying to be biased here. I actually fucking loved it, and what was in the trailer, I loved that as well. I thought it was, and again, maybe I'm being a little bit biased, but I thought it was great. I know it's not much to go off, but I was like, what a great callback. I showed my mum it in the morning, so I was like, and you remember when he regenerated?
I was explaining it to my mum when I came home. Like, no.
I'm like, well, I got it.
I was like, remember when the Titanic smashed into the TARDIS and he said it? And she was like, no. And I was like, what about when Catherine Tate was a bride and she teleported in? She was like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about,
like,
Aiden.
Well, I get it. And
I was like, I know I'm crazy.
I love it. I think it's great. Like, and she's like, you gotta show me again later. So I'm gonna try again.
Yeah.
But so crazy. So I know you mentioned this in your breakdown video, but yeah, I was really shocked to see that the regeneration changed his clothes, and I wonder if there's gonna be a thing behind that.
I don't think so. I think it's fine. I think I saw Josh.
What happened though? Like,
I think Josh put up a tweet. I think Josh put up a tweet earlier today and said that Hartnell's regeneration into Troughton also they changed clothes during the regeneration.
Okay.
I think it's fine. It's one of those things. I don't really give a fuck. Like it's.
I kind of wanted to see him go and try and like
in Jodie's
find something.
Try
and find some clothes that were similar to.
Yeah. I don't know.
Or maybe during regeneration it try to pick similar clothes. I guess you could say.
I don't know.
I think it's cool. Aiden?
I think it looked way cooler to have David in that costume than it would to be in Jodie's costume. I know in Jodie's costume it will be funny and things, but like
we got that with the Master though.
Yeah, we did. Yeah,
we saw Sacha Dhawan running around in
Yeah.
it. So we kind of got it.
It worked for me. It worked perfectly fine, and even better. Like I think seeing David like that. Can I just say,
Yeah, man, loved it.
best look in Regeneration,
Oh, 100%.
best Regeneration scene. I think
Completely agree.
it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Jamie, you do things to me, and just as a person,
Well-
he's got a great voice.
Well, Russell is definitely the guy to listen to fans, and I can definitely see him bringing back favourites. So, I wouldn't think it's impossible for him not to come back. He clearly really likes it.
I think
really
he said
likes
he
the
would as
job.
well. I think he said in an interview he would.
Hey, why wouldn't you? It's a big show, man. It's I obviously absolutely loved it. You can see my reaction to it. I was clapping like a seal. I keep saying.
Yeah.
I was just, I was just so
David.
David. Even though I knew it was kind of coming, I still was like a fucking kid in a candy
Yeah,
store.
I know.
I think the costume took me off guard as well.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting to see him in costume today.
When I saw the tie come out, I was like, "Oh my fuck!"
Yeah,
Like, shit.
Yeah, like
It's
you see the
happening.
costume. It's almost like they showed us his bloody costume at all the set pics and stuff.
Yeah, like,
just so that.
remember this.
Yeah,
Remember
well,
this.
they showed it. We saw all the set pics, and so when we saw him regenerate, the first thing we saw is the costume, and it was almost like a thing where that rather than seeing his face and we go, "It's David," you see his costume,
Yeah.
and then it starts to reveal David. I thought that was a real neato touch.
Yeah,
I gotta say.
So we'll go into it more depth in the next episode. But yeah, can I just say, I've just been so happy all day with what the future holds. I think it looks absolutely fucking amazing.
I feel exactly
And
the
yeah,
same way.
a great end to I wouldn't say great episode, but a really fun episode.
Yeah, I agree.
Filled with really fun moments that I think I will constantly go back and look at. And I think, all in all, I think Chris did a really good job considering he had the burden of having a regeneration special and the 100th anniversary of the BBC. I think he did
and
really good
COVID
job of-
and like a messy last messy last season as a result of that.
and that toxic ass fan base who
Ooh, yeah.
hated pretty much everything he did. I think he did a really good job at wrapping it up.
Yeah. Yep. Loads of cool stuff in there. All right. So, if there's anything else that we miss,
I'm sure
we'll talk about them
I'm
next
sure,
week. We
yeah,
can.
but I think fucking surprisingly, I think we actually did a pretty good job.
Yes, which leads us to our camera battery has died.
That was pretty.
We'll be right back with Vision.
It's dead.
Let's move on to just Twitter tings. It's the clowns, baby. Yeah. This is a segment where we like to hear what you guys have to say. So we got 4 or 5 listener responses today to talk about
Hit
what
me with it,
people
Aiden.
think of the episode. So the Now That's What I Call Comedy podcast, aka Jacob,
Love
good
Jacob.
friend,
Let's go.
says it was perfectly fine. The old Doctors was nice to see, and David's back. Plus the trailer looks great. But the episode was a pure chibnall mess. No timeless child closure from the end of Flux, and no Ryan. 5 out of 10. A fitting end to a disappointing era of the show. Jacob, I'm confused whether you're saying no Ryan. Is that a positive or negative?
Yeah, let us know if it's a positive or negative. 'Cause, I need to know. What
They
you mean by
then
that.
add a tweet an hour later saying, thinking about this more. No, that episode isn't fine. It's kind of bad. It's better than Legend of the Sea Devils, but it's still nowhere near good. 3 out of 10.
Wow,
They've amended
it
it.
went down even more.
So Vinny, our good friend of the show, she was on our Zygon 2-parter recently. Notoriously, David Tennant
I was
stan.
like, if there's like a bit of a scent that maybe David's going to be in it, she's like, I'll watch this.
Yeah, if there's a sniff
Oh,
of David,
like,
she'll be
yeah.
there. But she has not. I know she was planning on getting caught up on the show, but she's not been caught up for a long time in the show.
Correct.
But she was planning on getting caught up for the Power of the Doctor. I don't think she did.
No.
So here is her response. But she did watch the Power of the Doctor, I should say.
Yes.
She says, I couldn't tell you at all what the plot was. Laughing face.
Like no one can.
No one can. I actually don't know.
Yeah, I don't think anyone can. All right.
I screamed when my boy McGann appeared. I liked all the fan service. I enjoyed it more when I clocked out of the story. Absolutely same.
Correct. Yeah.
I also uncontrollably sobbed seeing my number one boy back at the end, and I am still sobbing now. Lots and lots and lots of crying emojis.
Because she loves McGann as well. So
She
yeah,
loves
that's definitely a bit of
McGann.
a treat.
Yeah. So Kian Nichols, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Kian or Kian? I'm gonna say Kian.
Okay.
They've been very responsive on Twitter recently with a few things. So it's been great
Thank
to
you.
chat to you.
Appreciate it.
Whose name is possibly Kian or Kian?
Or kind. Let us know.
The debate whenever
In the
we get
comments
someone new commenting.
below.
My God, what a delicious roller coaster ride of a treat this episode was. Jodie, Mandip, and Sasha were on fire. Classic companions, classic doctors, and my doctor, the David Tennant, is back as the 14th Doctor. What a ride the next few years are going to be. Allons-y, 2 hearts.
Hey.
So a very happy Kian or Kian or other.
Yeah, okay.
That is good. And Dylan.
Oh, no. Here we go. All right.
In good Dylan fashion, it's blunt, bad, but love the ending. So,
hey, you know what? To the point.
to the point. And
He's not wasting any time.
I love
They're
the
not
ending
wasting any
too.
time. Sorry.
yeah, we wasted an hour and a half of everyone's time.
It happens. It happens.
Hey, that's what we're here for, right?
It happens. Is that it for you?
That's it for me over on Twitter, mate. Anything on the Insta?
Okay, so put out my poll.
The classic
I
poll.
love doing a poll. It's fun.
Yeah, you do.
So I put, did you like Power of the Doctor? Yes or no? Yes. Got 89%. No.
Wow.
11%.
Wow,
Not bad.
okay.
And I got just some quick little thoughts. Connor said, I smiled, I cheered, I screamed, I cried. Awesome.
Literally how I felt. Literally how I felt.
Aiden right now?
I am.
James,
I am Aiden, actually.
Yes, you are.
Thanks.
James Downing said 8.5 out of 10 with a fire emoji.
Fire, fire, fire.
And Xavier said, new teeth. Not weird.
No, what? Thanks, Dave. Dave's responses are always the most ambiguous. Like, it's always a
They're out
reference
there.
rather than a
They're out there,
a
man.
response.
But yeah, no, it seems to be
Quite positive.
quite positive.
Yeah, well, that's good.
Yeah, that poll actually is because
Surprising
I've
to
done
me.
a few polls for Twitter episodes and they've been quite hit and miss. And I think that one's just nice to see.
Yeah.
You know, it's nice to see. But
is.
yeah, no, it's glad to see a lot of people enjoyed it for what it was.
Which was an episode
Of Doctor Who.
Who. That's
For the 100th anniversary of
Doctor
BB.
BBC. Sorry, I got 41 years ahead of myself
Yeah,
there.
we'll get there one day.
Yeah, we will. And
we'll be alive,
and Eccleston said
surely.
he'll do it
Yeah,
if he's alive.
yeah, no, you should.
I think he was like, I think around the 50th, he said, look, if
Right.
I'm alive for the 100th, I will be in it.
All right, that's funny. So, hang on, I'm so bad at maths. So you said 41 years?
41
Okay,
years,
well,
mate.
I'll be
We'll-
60. You'll be 65.
So we'll
I'll
hopefully
65.
be alive.
That's pretty. Yeah, well,
We stand a chance.
Bro, we're gonna be alive on the 100th anniversary.
Imagine-
we're gonna be like to our kids. I remember the 50th. I
Imagine
remember the 60th.
Me and you still doing this at the
Oh,
100th anniversary.
It has to be done.
Connor, the
Okay.
episode was good.
65? Bro,
Yeah,
we're
that's
gonna
me
be
at
fucking
65. That's
Dude, okay. If we ever stop in the future and we'll have to do an Eccleston and be like, we'll come back
We'll come back for the
the
100th. Yeah.
for all the fans out there, like Dylan and Vinny will be tuning in,
That's
Jacob.
The gang.
I'm sure Josh and Crispy will show up.
Yeah, we'll get them. They'll
They're
be
like, I
like,
remember these whippersnappers.
they'll be like what the classic doctors were in our
They'll make a
episode.
cameo.
Or better yet, people take over our show,
Oh my
and then
God.
we are the cameos in their
Yeah,
100th.
are we gonna like pass the mantle down?
Yeah,
Pass the
we
Sonic?
regenerate. We go, and we regenerate with our big budget. And Jamie Magnus-Stone directing.
Yeah, and then for 100th, I'll do like a David Tennant situation where like we show up.
Oh, they'll regenerate into us.
What? What? And they're like, oh,
The shit writes itself.
The new fans are like, who the fuck are these guys?
We've got to make some
These
kind of
guys.
skit for our 200th or
Hey,
something.
man,
There's a lot of very funny
We're getting
ideas.
that what's it called?
50% plus?
The 50%
The
plus.
streaming service. Yeah.
Yeah, no, we need to do something funny like that. Like
Yeah,
like Crispy does the whole YouTube rewind thing.
Yeah.
Now that we got a lot of friends in the Who sphere,
The Who's?
I'm
Yeah.
sure we could do something quite funny.
Yeah, I think it would be.
And you've written stuff.
Yes.
Have you written much comedy? Would you say?
I did, but it wasn't very good, but I think I'm getting better at it. I
Well,
think...
you don't think it was funny?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was like... I think it was
Gotta
Chris...
start
I
somewhere.
think it was Chris Chibnall funny.
Okay. You were dancing to Rasputin.
Yes, that's it. No, it was like very like Moffat joke. Not Moffat joke, very...
What? Don't look at my browser history.
Yeah, it was just like stereotypical joke. Marvel
Whoa.
jokes is what I was trying to say.
Okay.
Not Moffat jokes. Yeah, so
My
we'll...
ass remains unbeat. That kind of joke.
I'm going to move on. Bottom line is,
Coming soon.
We'll make something funny someday.
50% plus.
That's it. An exclusive limited edition.
That's what our Patreon's going to be called.
Series,
and you'll get to see
50%
Aiden
plus.
and I verse in FIFA.
Yeah, that's a Patreon
The
exclusive.
feud finally
One day.
comes to an end.
All right.
And the moment has been prepared for.
Connor, the moment has been prepared for. We've talked about the power of the Doctor today.
We have.
All right.
I think we did a good job.
I think we did. A bit messy, but like, what do you expect? We've just seen the
So
most
this
like
episode, bro.
fan wank insane episode ever. There's a lot to talk
Good way of
about.
putting it, a bit of fan wank.
Out of 10, my dear good friend Connor,
All
what
right.
would you rate the power of the Doctor?
I thought long and hard about this.
How long?
A couple of hours. Well, it's been a couple of hours, I guess. I'm going to say 7.5.
Well, okay, yeah. Good, respectable
Because
score.
I think it's really fun, but yeah, like Vinny was saying, like we've been saying, like if you think about the plot, it's a nothing burger, and
What the fuck?
I think I was gonna give it an 8, but I think from a story perspective, which is so important, it's just not there. But hey, man, like did I have fun with it? Fuck yeah! So I'm gonna give it a 7.5.
Yeah, okay.
I'm happy with that score, by the way, and I actually really did enjoy it.
Yeah.
So
I'm pretty solid on a 7, I think.
oh damn it! I thought we were gonna do
Yeah.
the fist bump.
No, I'm debating because there is
No
like
fist bump.
the
this
fan
time,
wank
folks.
pushes me up to 7.5 a bit, but I'm also aware that I do think it really does trail off a bit in like
Oh, definitely.
the second, third act.
So you're leaving me
area.
hanging, bro. It's alright.
Yeah, you gotta just hold the fist up,
Yeah, I'll be like,
and I just look away.
no,
No,
you don't want to do it.
no fist
you don't
bump
want to do
for
a
today.
0.5. Last chance.
I'm not changing the score.
No,
I'm keeping the score at a 7.
You keep rigging the polls. I hate to sound like Trump, man. But
No,
you keep
I just
rigging the
wanted to
polls.
give you a fist pump. All right,
man keeps rigging the
brother,
polls.
brother. I just want to give you a fist pump, bro. All
You
right,
don't want to leave me hanging, you know.
let's end this motherfucker show.
Take that how you will.
Next next week.
Funny.
In episode 133 of the podcast, we're looking forward to the 60th. We might read out a few more fan responses if we get a few more in.
All the hate mail.
All the hate mail.
from the last.
And we'll look back at any bits that we might have missed as well, because I'm going to try and watch it again between now and then.
Yeah, I definitely will.
I'll write anything down that we kind of missed. Excuse me, I'm a burpy boy. I had a burrito right before we shot.
Yeah, you ate that shit pretty quick, eh?
I threw that into my mouth. Like whole.
You eaten today
like,
at all? Or?
Big. Am I what?
Have you eaten today?
Have I eaten? I had a yogurt.
Okay.
When I watched
haven't eaten all day,
this
actually.
episode.
Probably explains my headache right now.
Yeah, you should have...
Just the coffee.
I bought you a
Nothing to
coffee.
eat. Yeah, thank you for that.
Yeah, well, you're welcome. It's Aiden and Connor's podcast. They're doing Doctor Who reviews.
Because
Doing
it's coming
Doctor
out
Who
tonight,
reviews.
and I'm just going to go,
Do. Hey! Wow.
So I was really enthusiastic through that. I am very happy to be here.
Well, I thought you weren't for a sec. I thought this was the end of
Really?
the podcast for a hot
No,
second.
we're not regenerating yet, are we?
No, well, look. No, we're not going to... we're going to start to regenerate, and then we're going to just pan up and cut to black.
'cause we don't know who is replacing
Yeah,
us.
yeah, because we never know. We're... what a shit bit.
Because
At the end.
the moment hasn't been prepared.
The moment... That's what the tagline... No, that's what the tagline... You know the trailer that was like, the moment's been prepared for?
The moment
They-
has not
If
been
they didn't
prepared
have... if it wasn't being continued with Russell, they should have
for. The
gone...
moment has not been
The
prepared
moment-
for. Cut!
Cut that shit, baby!